Hello there, everybody. This is Alex from Hardcorian Guides, bringing my guide for Bayonetta on hard difficulty. Today we're doing Chapter 14, Isla del Sol. I probably butchered the fuck out of that. I don't really know, to be honest. So, you remember how I was talking about how, like, I don't really like, Route 666, Chapter 8? Well, I think after giving it some time, I think I've definitely enjoyed it a little bit more. And this is the one I hate the most, in my opinion. At least this part. So, what we're doing here is we're basically doing a shoot 'em up, like your typical Toho kind of action shooters or whatever started that genre. I'm sure you guys are pretty much used to it. Like, this one's not 2D, but it's still annoying as all ever. So these little green orbs at the basic enemies, like the floating, winged angels and these smaller just orb winged angels, all they ever do is shoot out the green stuff. That's it. Now, you can build up your magic meter by shooting them down, and even getting witch time too off of certain attacks. And whenever you do that, you can actually send out Wicked Weaver attacks to do missiles. So that's pretty much the basics of it. It's not super complicated. The best thing to do, I recommend for this, is for a little waves like this, just get into like the middle of the screen and then just mash the shit out of the shooting button, which I think is like X or something. Square or something. Whichever button it is for you to shoot. Just get in the middle of like those waves when they go fucking, Galaga on your ass and just plow them down in one spot. Because you'll see later on it actually works for me pretty well. So, now we're going to be fighting the flying serpent enemies. Also, you can shoot stuff coming from the water. I think that gives you magic. I believe so. Not really 100% sure. So, if you dodge the fireballs, you do get witch time off of it, and that's very helpful, especially in these boss fights. Also, quick update for anybody paying attention. Not really an update, but more of like a, hey, I just want to tell you I did it. I don't know if I ever mentioned this to you guys yet or not, but I have. Yeah, see right here, I'm sitting in the middle, and it's working out wonders. So just keep matching the shit out of it, and there you go. Now, I have beaten Ninja Gaiden Master Ninja Mode finally. That was like last weekend. And then right after that, I played Bayonetta Non-Stop Climax. Infinite Climax I've been talking about. And it's always been so hard to do it. And at least I thought it was. So, I beat it. And I was like, wow, I'm just not that tough. So, I might do a guide of it in the future. Who knows? Anyway, for the Stingray guys that come out, the trick I recommend going with them is try to go toward them and then move out back to the middle of the screen. So, move left and then move right. That way, whenever you shoot in those patterns, you can pretty much avoid every shot. Because you're coming back to the middle of the section. Now, typically in every verse, you get fights like this. Where it's usually, you fight on the missile. There's also the fights where you fight bosses and such. And I know we fought one like a minute ago, but it's more like a mini boss. I think every verse probably has a boss to it. Like an actual big boss. So, unless this is verse 2, I can't tell. I think it's verse 1. Problem is, if you fuck up, get in the middle and, trying to plow these guys down, it will basically come back and hurt you. And they will just spam the shit out of you, make it almost nearly impossible to even hit them. Especially when you're fighting one of the bigger bosses, too. Where that happens at. Where they have a bunch of, the smaller winged orb, floating guys. Floating around, the really small ones. The ball enemies, or whatever you want to call them. I forget their name. Also, that orb boss I was always talking about, it's actually called Golem, and I'm just stupid. There is a thing where you can look up the names, but I just never do. So this is the... Let's call him the Dragoon, I don't know. I mean, it's like the twin-headed dragon boss. So, at first what he's going to do is he's going to launch out some of the green fireball attacks. And, of course, take witch time off it. So, just dodge it and just keep shooting. Just hold down the shoot button or just keep shooting. Whatever you're doing. That way you could try to hopefully get a hit on him. So, after he does that, he typically launches, I think, 3 fireballs. So that gives you a really good amount of time to actually take him down. And then while you're getting, that witch time off him and getting those shots in, just plow him down with magic. Just, keep using the Wicked Weave attacks and just beat his ass down. He's a really simple boss. Stupid simple. So these guys are probably one of the easier enemies to fight. in this. You can also actually shoot the fireballs back, by the way, if you're going to if you go into Witch Time, you can shoot them back. I mean, that's pretty obvious. We've done stuff like that before, but I just wanted to make mention of that real fast. So, these guys are not too tough. Probably the easiest of the enemies. Again, you can get Witch Time off the fireballs. Nothing, not really too big of a deal. These guys are kind of annoying because they're so randomly placed, I feel like, that I could never really truly figure out where to shoot at. I know where they're at, it's just I don't know where to start at, you know what I mean? And then after that, you have to fight another one of the big enemies along with 2 basic enemies. So pretty much these guys are really never that tough because they never really send out like the really strong enemies on you. They just send out like the basic, you know, angels, but more of the, you get like one big one and then, you know, a lot of the smaller pawns with it. So again, nothing too bad. Of course, you can pretty much guarantee yourself you're probably going to get some extra witch time. Or, I mean, well, yeah, you'll probably get some more magic out of that. So it's really nice to have those. And every once in a while, they'll probably drop health or something. Like, if you really need it that bad, they'll probably drop health. Of course, you know, if you ever wanted to yourself, you guys always have the option to, you know, use items. You know, there's, like I said before, there's really nothing wrong with that. Now, real quick, I do not recommend using any of your magic on basic enemies, like, you know, these random ass enemies that fly around. Just try to save it for the boss, but if you just want the points, the extra money for it, and you might be like me and you might get hit, and that's probably gonna fuck up your magic. So it's, to me, it's like, might as well just use it while I have it, you know. That's why I say. So now we gotta fight 3 of these at the same time. And this is pretty easy for the most part because all we're really doing is just getting witch time off them and just blowing their head down. So that's the main focus point you want to attack is their head. So I don't think you can really hurt their other part of the body. It's so strange. One thing to do is just try to stay kind of toward the middle and just mash buttons. Eventually one of them will fly through there and there you go. Typically, you know, they also can't even hit you when they fly by either, which is weird. Because I think when you fight them on the ground, I think they can. And it's just a strange setback. Like, okay. I mean, I know we're not a missile, but if we're trying to protect the missile, then, you know, that makes sense for them to actually hurt it. So, the mini-bosses are not that tough. It's mostly the bosses of this chapter that are probably the hardest part. And then after all this, you have to fight Jean. So, keep in mind that while you're doing this, you're going to have to fight with her. And I'm sure a lot of you are probably, you know, sighing right now as we speak, like, good God, we have to fight her again? It's like, I know, but I think it's the last time we have to fight her, so I believe so. It should be. Yeah, I think it is, actually. I forget what the next chapter was. I think it might be the Lumen Sage one. I don't know. But he's definitely at least one of my top bosses for Bayonetta. For sure. I really like that boss a lot. And you guys will get to see why. It's just, he fits the hack and slash thing I like. So now we gotta fight some kingships. And these guys like to send out lasers on you. So, again, you can get witch time off that. That is witch time a bull. I don't know what the word or lingo for that would be. But anyway, you can get witch time off that. Not too hard. They send out more cannon guys on you. I call them cannons because I don't really know what they are. I can't really tell. But I always just assume like they were cannons or shooting cannons at me or something. So, I know they're shooting fireballs, but in my mind, for some reason, I think they're shooting them out of cannons. I don't know. It's just something that popped in my head while I was playing, and yeah. So anyway, back with the stingray enemies here. The thing with them is the reason why I think this pattern works so well is because even if you destroy them, they still have the green orbs following you regardless. So for the most part, you're probably going to get hit anyway. And to me, it seems like a good idea just to go ahead and do the necessary pattern. That way they just die off quicker. So hopefully they don't send out another one, you know what I'm saying? That's just my recommendation. Now every time that this warning signal comes up, that's typically when a boss is about to approach. So that way you can keep an eye out for that too. This guy's kind of annoying because if you shoot him while he has his hands up like that across the screen, you can't hurt him. You have to shoot him in the face. That's the idea here. So what he also likes to do, that's really obnoxious, is he likes to make a belt out of the really small enemies. And you know, the winged ones. I personally hate that. I think that part is just retarded. Because they give you so many things to avoid. And I recommend, if you can, get a few of them killed off. That way you get the magic for it, of course. You know, try to find a consistent pattern for yourself. Find a good way. Basically, try to wrap yourself around the screen. That's one thing I would recommend. That way, you know, that way all of them are shooting where you were at rather than at you. It makes things 10 times easier. I do it pretty much for every, like, shoot 'em up section in games. I just, you know, if I have sections like this, I just wrap around the entire screen. One thing you could do is go near his waist and just shoot up there. Like, stand right there and then just keep shooting at that spot. And you might be able to probably kill most of them. That's one thing I should have done. I was looking at it and I was like, I missed. And for some reason, I didn't even bother to dodge. Okay. I must have been, like, planning that out really badly. But yeah, you can see right here what I'm doing is kind of dumb. Because I'm going out of my way to shoot one side of the wave rather than trying to kill them all off at the same time. And that is something I recommend that you do, is wait to find out when they're going to start shooting and then just stand at the, you know, the median point and just kill them that way. So unfortunately, Wish Time does not last very long. Whenever he does those finger missile things, they don't usually tend to last very long on the screen. Meaning, like, you can't really, you pretty much can't really get hit by them. He usually shoots it upward anyway, so if you just stay kind of low, you should be fine. And if you see him coming your way, just dodge. There's nothing to it, really. I think that's the end of the entire missile section, I believe. And then I think the rest, yeah, that's it. Okay, so that was the worst part, in my opinion, my least favorite part of the game. So now we get to fight Jean, and I want to point out, like, certain sections that are checkpoint related. That way to give you guys, you know, some ease of mind. That way when you're fighting her, you know where you're going to get a checkpoint at. Because you do get checkpoints in these fights, by the way. So, no big deal. Like, if you die near the last bit of her health, then more than likely she'll just bring you back to that spot. So, this is the first part of it. There's nothing to really use around here at all. So you kind of have to just be careful of her. Like, you just fight her like you normally do any other time. You know, dodge Wicked Weave attacks, get the Wish Time off that. If you need to use anything like I do, like invincibility, I would totally recommend it. I mean, I'm going to do the same thing, especially when I do the, you know, non-stop climax, is I'm going to pretty much just use items as much as I can. I'm just going to item spam the fuck out of that game because, to me, it just makes the things a little bit easier. So, one trick with the Wicked Weave attack, like the instant Wicked Weave attacks, the thing with her, and I've explained this before, she will dodge pretty much all your attacks for the most part. So if you want to get a really good Wicked Weave attack on her, you have to wait until she does a Wicked Weave or just until she finishes a combo herself. Once she finishes a combo herself, she's easy to get a combo on. Well, not really a combo, but she's easy to get a hit on him for the most part. So that's my recommendation there. I did actually die on that missile section. You're supposed to, I think, jump or do a quick time event, which I think is just like X or hold up X. Whichever one it was. Might have been square for all I know. I don't remember. But yeah, all of a sudden now we get a title card for her. It's like, yeah, we already know who she is, kind of. So pretty much. I mean, there's really no reason for it. Yeah, you can see right there, I'm kind of wasting my attacks. Yeah, they're kind of working, but not really. Now, here's the problem with this fight. This is also checkpointed as well. I think this is a checkpoint here. So, sometimes she'll snap her fingers, and when she does that, make sure you're prepared. Because if you don't see a Wicked Wave coming out, start mashing triangle circle at the same time. That way you can grab right a hold of the missile when it comes out to you. So, yeah, right there I got the dodge off on her. Not really too bad. And then she gets a combo on my ass. And I'm just having a whole lot of trouble with this fight. It's the last fight. And what makes this fight easy is the next part. So the next phase of this fight is probably the easiest part. Because you are allowed to get extra items around the field. And I like having that. Especially in a fight like with her. I mean, her health bar is very intimidating though. You know, like it feels like it is. Because she's just got so much health. You know, you think, you know, good Christ. Oh no, it's this part I die on. Okay. So yeah, here it is. Yeah, this is where I fucked up at. You can tell because I basically just, you know, rewound the whole scene. I tried to play it off like it never happened, but I didn't really do a good job at editing, so yeah, that happens. Now, one attack I do recommend doing on her is the triangle, triangle, circle. Like, the 2 triangles and the two circle attack, or whatever console you're playing on, you know, whatever you're using for that. So do 2 punches and then 3 kicks. And the reason why is because that's a really nice combo on her. Like, it gets 2 Wicked Weave attacks on her, and you could pretty much almost follow up with you can probably almost follow up with an instant one, too. Also, she knocks you in the air with the Wicked Weave attack. Make sure you start dodging. If she starts knocking you in the air anyway, just start doing the dodge. Just try to, don't mash it too much, because I think that doesn't work. I think it, like, fucks you up if you try to mash too much. So, just keep your eye on it. Just whenever she goes to attack, or just, barely mash it, just like, hit it like R2, 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 kind of slow, but just hoping that you get out of it. So that's my recommendation for that. I know we fought her like 3 times already, and it's pretty much all the same stuff, regardless. But yeah, you can tell that that trip attack does work, but for some reason I didn't get the last Wicked Weave. And again, like I was saying, like I kind of recommend just doing the 2 punches and then the 3 kicks. For some reason, that seems to be the best way. Also, there was a trick I learned that I never learned during my entire playthrough on hard. If you do okay, so like for like the first Jean fight when she's in the church and she's standing on the wall, right? So one thing you could do with that, and you might be able to do it here too, because eventually she goes up to the wall. If she walks on any of the walls, especially in the next section, do the spin the control stick around and start mashing circle. Like, mash it. Don't just, hold it down. You gotta mash it. And for some reason, like, you can pretty much almost get every shot on her. At least from what I've seen. So, like, right now, she's standing on that. She's very vulnerable to, like, both Wicked Weaves and that one trick I was talking about. So, if you want to get some nice damage on her, just stand on the ground, get far back from her, just a little bit. Just enough to where you can actually, hit her, of course. And do the spin circle, and just keep tapping circle. Just aim at her and just fuck her up that way. That's something I found out by watching a collectible guide, and I was like, God damn, this guy's actually good. How the shit did he find that out? So, this was the part I was talking about. This is also checkpointed as well. If you get on this section, you will have a checkpoint, so if you do die, you will come back here. I can pretty much almost guarantee you. If I'm completely wrong, well, I can pretty much assure you I'm going to do a Master Ninja guide, so that will probably make up for it. Anyway, try to save these. Like, try to save the item, like, breaking the obstacles or breaking the objects and stuff. That way, just in case you need the health or something. But if you wanted to, you can just go all out at the very beginning and just, completely just decimate all the objects. And for some reason, I don't know if it's my Sony Vegas or if it's the video that's been fucking up. I don't know. I really need to stop, like, recording these videos and then just, yeah, keep going with it and just keep recording more, because for some reason Elgato just sucks ass. Alright, on these punching sections here, be careful with that, because there is a part where she's going to do another set of punches on you. So just keep mashing triangle until you know that Bayonetta's got the final hit. That's what I recommend for this. Again, she's just like she is in any other fight. We've fought her I don't know how many goddamn times. It's just, you get used to it. You really do. She just becomes easy. Yeah, right here you can tell, like, in that very scene, we're going to start mashing triangle even more. And I think the game fucked me over on that, because for some reason I could not get the final triangles. Like, I could not get any more off her. And I think the game, like, kind of lagged out a bit and said, no, you never got it. And I'm like, that's stupid. So, one attack that she does is, or one combo that she does that you can pretty much get a combo right off her, right after, is the dive kick maneuver. So whenever she does that and lands on the ground, just make sure you jump right on her and just beat her fucking ass. Yeah, see, if you don't get the full 500, you get hit. I think that's just completely retarded, in my opinion. Yeah, look at that. We got both Wicked Weave attacks. That's just crazy. Also, I think you need like 3 magic slots before you can do an actual full Wicked Weave. Or like one of these instant Wicked Weave attacks. By the way, just in case anybody wanted to know. Yeah, that attack right there, that's bullshit. So whenever she does that forward kick, she's probably going to do like a, a triangle right after. That's something to be very careful of. I also think if you dodge the sword, I think it's also a Wicked Weave as well. It should be. So that way when you dodge that, you get the witch time off it too. So, again, not a super hard boss, especially if you use, like, some of the yellow lollipops. then you can pretty much just go through this with no damage. Yeah, you will be punished for using items, but hey, it's fine. I mean, if you're willing to be like me, you know, step by step all the way here, then yeah, you know what you're in for. So I'm not here to like impress anybody. I'm not here to, okay, yeah, I am. I'm not here to, you know, be a professional by this or anything like that. I'm just here to beat the fucking game, and that's what we're here for. So after this video, I need to go back and go check and see if the audio is desynced or not, because this had some issues. Again, I don't know if it was Sony Vegas or not. It might have been. So yeah, that was a new attack as well as the Phantom. I don't know why she all of a sudden has that. I mean, it just comes out of nowhere. So keep your eye out for that attack. She might do it on you. I'm not really sure. She did it on me for sure. So of course, I use the Yellow Lollipop right at the end and basically get the final flash. So that's it. Got a silver for it because I fucking used items and I took too much damage and I sucked ass at the game. And that's just my punishment. So you can call me Punished Alex. So anyway, that's the Isla del Sol. And thank God that one's over. So I'll see you guys in chapter 15 next. And as always, take care, everybody.